How's it going, everyone? Welcome to the first edition of TML Talk. I am your host, Andrew Piluk, here on Andrew Piluk Hockey. This is something I've been coming up with. I wanted to try something else here, like a new series talking about the Toronto Maple Leafs. It'll be posted weekly, and we'll be talking about all the topics that are happening around the Toronto Maple Leafs. So let me know if you guys like this kind of thing. Like the video if you like it, and subscribe if you're new. Love to have more hockey conversations with you. Let's get right into it. Let's bring up the topics box. So first we're going to talk about Kyle Dubas being named GM of the Toronto Maple Leafs. Of course, this just happened. Then we're going to be talking about Par Lindholm, the signing that the Leafs are going to be doing very soon. Of course, I believe they haven't actually officially signed him yet. They'll probably have to wait till July 1st. Then we're going to be talking about the Austin Matthews and Mike Babcock situation. Now, this to me isn't such a big deal, but the media has been bringing it up, so I thought, why not talk about it? And something that I want to do at the end of every video, I'm going to be bringing up a question, and today it's going to be talking about the Leafs pending UFA. So let's get right into it. So the first thing obviously that we're talking about is Kyle Dubas being named the 17th general manager in Leafs history. Now, we all know Kyle Dubas has been with the team since 2014, and now he's getting his shot at being GM. This is very exciting. I'm a big fan of Kyle Dubas. I think that he's done a great job. He's been around hockey since the age of 11 when he was with the Sioux Greyhounds. Then by the age of 16, he was a scout. And by the age of 25, he was the GM of the Sioux Greyhounds. And now, of course, he was with the Toronto Marlies starting in 2014, and he was the GM. And now he is the Toronto Maple Leafs GM at the age of 32. So I think that he's done a fantastic job so far, and we'll have to see what he does coming up here in the very near future. There's a lot of big contracts coming up that he's going to have to deal with. This is the year that a lot of Leaf fans would say that they could really go for it. Are they going to trade for a defenseman? How's the goaltending situation going to go? They've got, 4 or 5 guys that they can mess around with, see who's going to be the backup for Frederik Andersen. Lots of cool storylines going into this offseason, and Kyle Dubas is going to be one of the biggest reasons why the Leafs will win a Stanley Cup in the very near future. Hopefully, Leaf fans, you agree with me. The next thing we're going to talk about is Par Lindholm. So Par Lindholm is 26. He's from Kusmark, Sweden. Could be saying that incorrectly, but hopefully the people from Sweden will help me out there. He's 5'11". He weighs 187 pounds. He plays center, and he shoots left. So that centerman position, there's probably going to be a couple open spots. A lot of people are saying that he would probably best fit as a fourth-line centerman on the Toronto Maple Leafs or in the National Hockey League altogether. So we'll have to see if the Toronto Maple Leafs are going to utilize him in that role. Let's look at his stats from last year in the Swedish Hockey League. In 49 games played, he had 18 goals and 29 assists, good for 47 points. That is some pretty good numbers. Of course, he was on one of the best lines in the Swedish Hockey League, if I'm not mistaken. So good for him. Hopefully he comes into the Toronto Maple Leafs organization and makes an impact, because I would, really appreciate that, to have a good third or fourth line centerman, because the Leafs are probably going to end up getting rid of guys like Tyler Bozak, which we'll get to later, and Thomas Plekanec is probably not coming back. All right, so the next thing I wanted to talk about that we discussed earlier was the Mike Babcock and Austin Matthews situation. Now, people are making a big deal out of this. I didn't really want to talk about it that much, but since it does have to do with the Toronto Maple Leafs, their head coach and arguably their best player, probably their best player on the team, you kind of have to bring it up. Now, Mike Babcock was saying that, all good players have frustrations here and there, and I'm just saying these things because Mike Babcock said quite a lot about this situation, and not a ton when it regarded to their specific relationship. But he did say that him and Austin Matthews are on good terms, and that all good star players are going to have issues. They always want to get better, and I don't think that there's really anything there. And Austin Matthews and Mike Babcock both agreed that there really wasn't anything there. They both met up in Arizona. They went to Austin's house, and Mike said it was a great situation, great family. He was a gentleman. He's very good around his family, and that doesn't surprise me. So we'll have to see where that goes. But I thought I'd bring up an Austin Matthews quote that I think a lot of people would like to hear. So the quote says, "I don't know what that's all about. A relationship's fine. Obviously, you guys can speculate all you want, but I think it's pointless." So that was the quote that Austin Matthews said, and I don't think that there's really anything there. Both of them seem to be on good terms, and I'm pretty sure that this is just being a little bit overblown. And of course, I'm part of the problem by talking about it, but I figured everybody would want to hear at least a little bit of what I thought about it. So this is the end of this. Again, this is just a quick first episode. I wasn't sure how I wanted to go about this, and again, it's all a big test. This is kind of like the pilot episode. So the question that I wanted to give you guys here towards the end of every episode, this is the first question, is what are the Leafs going to be doing with their UFAs this season? James Van Riemsdyk, Tyler Bozak, and Leo Komarov are obviously the big names, JVR being the biggest. Will any of them re-sign with the Toronto Maple Leafs? And if not, where will they go? You guys can come up with your different combinations of if they will sign or if they won't. Let me know down below in the comments. And again, if you're new, make sure you subscribe. I'd love to have more hockey conversations with you. This is the first edition of TML Talk. I'm Andrew Piluk. Thanks for watching.